Senator McGrath.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honour to be re-elected as a Senator for Queensland and to represent the people of Queensland in this august chamber. And I'm also humbled to have been reappointed by the Prime Minister as his Parliamentary Secretary or Assistant Minister. And I say it is an absolute privilege to be part of the returned Turnbull-Joyce government, the coalition government, the only team in this place with a plan to provide jobs and growth and a secure future for Australian families. But before I get on to talk about what happened during the election campaign, I want to touch upon something that's very close to my heart, and that is the national flag of Australia, our flag. On the 3rd of September, it was National Flag Day, and that was a day to celebrate the anniversary of our Australian national flag. For the last 115 years, our flag has accompanied Australia on its journey of nationhood, a symbol of our historical ties and a symbol of our achievements. On the 3rd of September in 1901, at approximately 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon, a new Australian flag featuring stars and crosses was hoisted for the first time above the Royal Exhibition Building in Melbourne, which was the site of our first federal parliament. Prime Minister Edmund Barton announced it as the winning design of a competition which attracted more than 30,000 entries worldwide. 4 Australians and 1 New Zealander were pronounced joint winners of the competition. One was a well-known female artist from Perth, one a Melbourne schoolboy of just 14, another an 18-year-old optician's apprentice, one an architect, another a first officer with the Union Steamship Company of New Zealand. They were from different backgrounds and had different skills. And yet, those different perspectives led them all to a nearly identical design, combining the Southern Cross and the Union Jack. Even before this competition, Australians had begun to raise unofficial flags, often featuring the Southern Cross in place of the Union Jack. They wanted a flag that would represent them and their fledgling nation, a flag that would unite all Australians. Today our flag is part of our identity as a nation. We are a country with a diverse population, yet the flag connects us all. We express pride in our country with it. Wherever it is flown, it signifies to others where we live in the great land under the Southern Cross. And last night, Mr. President, I was watching the last night of the Proms, which is one of my favourite TV programs every year. It's a fantastic music spectacle. There's no surprise there. It's a fantastic spectacle. And what was great to see, that in this huge mass of people at the Royal Albert Hall, that you could see the Australian flag flying proudly, not just once, not twice, but numerous times. You'd see the Australian flag being hoisted aloft by Australians, enjoying the best of the British music that is around. We raise it in triumph at sporting events, we wear it on T-shirts and paint it on our faces to let the world know who we're cheering for. With the Olympics only recently having wrapped up in Brazil, the first time an Australian flag flew in Olympics was at the St. Louis Games in the USA in 1904. In that year, the Australian team had a whopping total of 1 athlete. The first time it was raised to celebrate an Olympic medal win was at the London Games in 1908 for our rugby team. Our flag is displayed as a mark of respect and a remembrance for our servicemen and women who have served under it. 1914 was the year the new Australian flag was first flown in an act of war when it flew over the Army fort at Queenscliff, Victoria, when that fort opened fire to prevent a German steamer from leaving port. One flag fact which is particularly close to me, as my great uncle was a prisoner of war in Singapore during World War II, is that our flag was the first flag of freedom to fly over liberated Singapore in 1945. And that particular flag was one secretly made by prisoners of war in a prison camp. The Australian flag is our foremost national symbol, a symbol of a peaceful, democratic and just country. It has been a constant while our society, our nation and our world has undergone monumental change. So not just on National Flag Day, which is September 3, but on all days, I would urge all Australians to fly the flag, to be proud in the flag in terms of what it represents for all of us Australians. Now, Mr. President, Madam Deputy President, I'll get it right, I now want to talk and touch upon the election campaign.